Hello.
Hi folks, it's Ian here with Moritz and then the manager. Can you hear us okay?
Yep.
Yes, Ian. Hi, Ian.
Can you hear us?
I can hear.
Okay. Great stuff. Okay, listen, a couple of questions each if we can as normal. I'm going to start with Keith McGinty because I saw him there first. So Keith, on you go.
Hi, Moritz. How are you?
Hi, good, and you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Looking forward to the game tomorrow against Hearts. It'll be the first time that we'll be using VAR in Scottish football. What do you and the rest of the players anticipate it'll be like?
For me, I'm for VAR. I think it's a good thing for the game, you know, it makes the game more clear, but it's still also a little bit of 50-50 still, because there's still some moments where, you know, things are a bit unsure, but I think, you know, we need to give it some time, but it will be a good benefit for the game.
We saw during the summer the training session that was held at Celtic Park, and how the training sessions themselves are very high tempo, but sometimes VAR can disrupt that tempo. Is that something that the manager has helped you to prepare for in training sessions, or are you just trying to keep that momentum up whenever the game restarts?
No, we will, you know, we will continue to play our game like always. You know, we want to play very quick. We want to have quicker restarts. Regarding with the VAR, I don't know what the situation will be like, but like I said, we don't know what's going to happen yet, but we're just going to continue the way we play, which is we want to play quick.
Thanks.
Andrew McLean. Andrew.
Hi, Moritz. You've obviously played in some games in Europe that's had VAR, and domestically we've not got it yet until this weekend. Is there anything that you need to consider when you're out on the pitch differently when VAR is in play?
Not really. You still play the same as before, you know. Like I said, it makes the game only a bit more clear for, you know, for little tight moments, you know, when you maybe attack and let's say the attacker is in the box and gets a little touch and you're not sure if it's a penalty or not, then it will get checked, and it's good. It's a good benefit, which makes it clear, which makes it less of an issue, you know, for afterwards the game, because normally we don't know the answer if there's a, you know, if there's a foul or not a foul. So it will make things more clear.
And what type of game are you expecting tomorrow at Tynecastle?
It will be a tough game. We know the atmosphere is very, very tough. They will be physical. We also know they have a little bad spell, but we're prepared for the fight tomorrow, and we play the way we play like always.
Andrew. Gavin McCafferty, please.
Moritz, how pleased were you to get a clean sheet the other night? Because it had been a couple of weeks.
Very, very pleased. Oh, you still continue with your question? Or?
No.
No, I'm very pleased. You know, we as defenders are very pleased for this. It's, for us, a clean sheet is like a goal. So it's very nice. It shows our hard work, that we're working very hard to keep the ball out of the net. So yeah, we're very pleased.
You feel, again, obviously the goals that have come in the last couple of games as well, things are just clicked into gear in an attacking sense as well, just with the clinical nature of things. Is there? Can you put your finger on why that's happened? Why it maybe had there been a few games before that you maybe struggling to take your chances?
Like in the last games, you know, we still create a lot of chances. You know, we create a huge amount of chances, but we just couldn't take them. And I think it just clicked. You know, it was. You know, it was taking time, but it was about to happen. And you know, once the first goal goes in for the strikers, it's like a rush, and they will score more and more and more. And hopefully they continue with this pattern.
Jamie.
Hi,
Moritz, do you feel you're hitting the heights that you did at the start of the season with, you know, 10 goals in a week and everything really starting to click over those two games?
Come again? I didn't understand.
Do you feel you're hitting the heights in form, your top form again, as you were showing at the start of the season with a lot of goals, a lot of dominant performances?
Yes, I think so. We're showing that we're performing good, but I think we were performing in general in a good manner. We still creating a lot of chances. We're still dominating a lot of games. It's just that we didn't take the chance. At the end of the day, it's all about goals, and it's just good that the strikers are clicking again, and hopefully they can continue with this momentum and going from match to match and score a lot of goals.
Hearts had 2 players sent off the last time you played them at Celtic Park yesterday. One of their players said the way Celtic play, fouls and yellow cards are sort of inevitable, the way that they have to try and combat you. What do you make of that? Do you feel like you do draw a lot of fouls just with the style that you attack?
I can't say much of that. It's a decision of the player, to go maybe certain moments with a tackle like that. But it's very difficult to play against us. We have very good individual players up front. Very creative, quick players. So it's very difficult, to defend against these players. That's all I can really say to this.
Okay, thanks. Amy?
Hi, Moritz. How have you found playing alongside Cameron Carter-Vickers when he's had the captain's armband? Have you felt anything different alongside him?
No, it still feels the same. It still feels very good. We have a very good relationship together on the field and off the field. He's a fantastic player. He's also showing his leadership qualities, and nothing has changed with the armband. He's still the same solid CCV as before.
Obviously, the manager always says, one game at a time. But when the Champions League is on the horizon, just Tuesday night, how do you find it as players to, just focus solely on the next game? 3 competitions in the space of 10 days. There's a lot going on.
Obviously, we know the game is on Tuesday, but the priority is obviously on the weekend, because we play because we need to perform at our highest in the league, and then we need to perform our highest in the cup. So like the manager said, obviously it has to be step by step, and tomorrow the first challenge is obviously hard.
Thanks, Moritz.
Thanks, Kerry.
Hi, Moritz. Just with VAR coming in this weekend again, does your attitude change at all going into that with being a defender, or how does it change your game then?
Come again with the question.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, it was too quick.
Sorry. Does your attitude change going into the games now with VAR coming into effect at the weekend? Being a defender?
No. Oh, no. The attitude doesn't change. You just still play your game. I think even without the VAR, you're still very careful. In certain moments you have to be clever and you have to use your brain. You don't have to go into silly situations. At the end of the day, VAR will make things more clear, and will make the game more easier for the referees in moments where they can't see certain things that are a bit more, dirty play, for example. So it would be nice.
With the amount of games coming up, in the league and Champions League, the manager talks about the rotating squad. Does that encourage the constant need to impress during training?
I think every day you need to impress in training. You need to give 100%. If you want to play for a big football club like this, you have to be at your best. We're competing all to play, and we're also pushing each other to play, to improve as players. And you need to push yourself, and that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hello, Jenz.
Hello.
Yeah, Jenz, you're quite known for coming through the Fulham Academy with Matt. But before that, you came through the youth team at Tynecastle, a team quite fondly thought of by a lot of Celtic fans. What was it like for you playing there for Tynecastle as a young man?
First time I hear this, someone asking about my childhood club. No, it's nice. It's a nice club, but obviously they struggled financially over the years, and they went down the leagues, but they're still very good in the academy. And I really enjoyed it because we used to travel a lot and play a lot of other, European big teams as a small side, and German big teams. So it was nice, competing against these guys and also winning a lot of tournaments. And then at the end of the day, it helped me to, get noticed by other teams across in Europe. And then at the end, it was Fulham, and it also made me, grow as a young player. to take the next step, to take the next step abroad, to be used to traveling a lot, seeing different cultures, and competing with different people.
A real solid grounding, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you aware of your nickname among the Celtic supporters?
Nickname?
Your nickname among the fans.
Is it good?
Yes, it's good. Mercedes Jenz.
Oh, I take this then. I take it. I think it's fantastic.
Danke.
Danke.
Okay, brilliant. I think that's us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Okay, folks, hear us okay again with Ange. Andrew McLean, would you like to go?
Yep. Hi, Ange. Obviously, the introduction of VAR to Scottish top flight this weekend, is it something you're looking forward to?
I've never seen so much excitement about something that's, mate, I'm totally ambivalent to it. I think the best outcome for VAR this weekend is if we don't use it, means all decisions are right, but it's not like it's an exciting new signing or something. That stuff doesn't rock my boat, mate, but I know others are really excited by it. Good luck to them, but I doubt anyone's buying an admission ticket to see what VAR does this weekend. I think they'll be there to watch the football, hopefully, anyway.
Just touching on that again, you say there that you'd rather we don't really hear much about it. Is that the best version of VAR when it only gets involved very, not very often?
Yeah, I mean, really, VAR is only there if the referees miss something. So hopefully, referees don't miss anything major, and the game just plays. It's not, it's not there as a, starring attraction of the afternoon or evening. So yeah, if we don't see it at all, I'll be probably the happiest man in Scotland because everyone else seems to be really excited by it. But anyway.
Jimmy.
I mean, hi, Ange. 10 goals in a week, 2 big performances. Is this Celtic back to their best, do you feel?
Yeah, look, I can see why people think that way, but, that's when you're kind of looking at outcomes. And if you're looking at outcomes, it suggests that we're in great form. But, I don't think we're far off it before then. I think people will probably recognise the difference is that, we weren't putting away our chances, and I still thought our football was decent, and we were creating chances, whether that was, in the league or in the Champions League. But obviously, people kind of look at the final result and say, well, they're going really well at the moment. But like I said, I don't think we've been far off it anyway, but always pleasing to score goals home and away, I think. And, for the players, are human beings, I guess they get a bit of confidence out of that as well.
How do you assess Hearts that were obviously so consistent last season? Would it be fair to say, do you think from the outside looking in that Europe has maybe affected their form domestically?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it is a challenge for every club that has to juggle sort of European competition because of, it's not just the fact you're playing extra games, but there's travel involved. There's all these other sort of things that come into it that other clubs don't have to deal with. So even in terms of focus and it's difficult to maintain or concentration on what the next challenge is sometimes. So but I mean that's for them to assess. But it's not easy when you're kind of juggling the 2 competitions for sure.
Kerry.
And just on the subject of VAR again, will your approach to coaching change at all, or your message to the players change now that it's coming in?
No, I don't really. It's not. Look, I've been here sort of 16 months now. How many times have I mentioned referees after a game? I mean, it's just. I know it's a favourite subject up here, and after a game, it's the main talking point for the most part. But it just does not interest me. I don't think. The best referees are the ones we never notice because the game is what's more important. So, I'm sure the referees prefer it that way as well. But no, I'm not excited. It's not going to change my coaching. It's not going to change how I talk to the players. And to be fair, we've already sort of experienced it. Taking away the joking about it. I mean, we have it in Europe anyway, so it's part of our process.
And is there an injury update ahead of this weekend?
Pretty much as is from Wednesday night. Everyone pulled up okay from Wednesday night, and the ones who are close to coming back still, we're just sort of maybe taking a more conservative path. The team's going okay, and we'll see how the closest being probably Jota and Turnbull. We'll see how they are for Tuesday.
Nice, thank you.
Nice.
And Rocco Vata is the latest of our talented youth players being linked away from the club. Already we've lost several to Man City, Liverpool and Bayern Munich. How can we keep our talents? How can we help them progress to the first team? Is that something that we could maybe look at doing loans like Callum McGregor did? He's just released his book this week. That was one of his pathways, and we believe you got Mark Lawwell in. That's something that he did at his previous job.
Yeah, look, I think with all these things, it's about sort of having a strategy in place. And as you said, our B team this year, we're really happy with the progress of a number of players there. And, Steve McManus and Darren O'Day are doing a great job. And I'm obviously closely linked with them and following the progress. So, all we can do is sort of provide that pathway. I mean, I know you say we've lost a few, but, we've got Tony Ralston, Callum McGregor and James Forrest, who are living, breathing examples of, if you stay at this football club, you can sort of have a pretty good career. So it's not like we don't have a formula for that. It's just a matter of, you deal with every sort of case individually. And as I said, we this year we've closely aligned the B team with the first team so that, they're training up here at Lennoxtown. I see them every day. I talk to the coaches every day, and we're aware of the progress they're all making. And, we feel confident that we can provide them a pathway to becoming, Celtic footballers in the near future.
Great. Last weekend, Steve Hitchen was at the game. Now, we understand he's not been brought on board at all, but it did raise questions about a possible director of football. Do you think that is a role that would be suited to this club? Do you think there's anything else that you need to help you with the club just now, or even?
I mean, if we're taking a roll call at everyone who turns up to our games for possible positions in this football club, no, it's like, we're kind of working through those areas methodically. We have added to all the areas I believe we needed to add. We're continually looking at sort of making sure that we're as well resourced as we possibly can be. And, we've made quite a few sort of additions into areas that I felt were important, and keep working that way. If I feel something needs, further bolstering up an area in our football department or, within here at Lennoxtown, then we'll do so. But it's not going to be sort of gauged by who comes to our games. That's not kind of, us putting a job vacancy out.
Thank you.
Joe.
Ange, Joe McKenna, Homeboys podcast. Hope you're well.
Good, thanks, bud.
And last weekend, Alex Bernabei had a second very impressive showing, whilst Oliver Abelard came off the bench and looked impressive. And in both last week and midweek, Sierra Haksabanovic and Aaron Moy played a very big part in both wins. Are you happy that the guys who've come in the late window and the guys who've come from totally different football and lifestyle environments are now at a stage where you can trust them to give exactly what is desired and required on the pitch? As opposed to touch on previous questions I've asked you, regarding player and club environment, they're also settled into comfortable lives off the pitch?
Yeah, look, I think, it is important. And I think there's obviously a distinct difference from this year to last year where, we kind of were forced to throw guys in, which wasn't ideal. And credit to the players we did throw in. They just, took up the challenge, and it wasn't easy for a lot of them. This year with all the players we brought in, we've taken our time in terms of integrating them into the style of training, our style of football, and as you said, allowing them to get settled off the park. And I am pleased with all their progress. I still feel with particularly maybe not, Berner, because he came in, fairly early, but the other lads you mentioned, Sayed and Oliver and Aaron, I still think they'll be, better off in the second half of the year because, missing pre-season, it does catch up with you at some point. You can't make that ground up. And the fact that we've got this mid-season break will allow us to put some more work into the guys. And it will be important because, whilst we're in a busy period, we still know that the really important stuff happens after we get back from the break. That's when everything gets decided, and we'll still have a lot of games. And I'm really confident that guys like Aaron and Sayed and Oliver will all be, strong contributors to that.
One more question about the other night. You made a point of having Kyogo go over and take up the plaudits of the fans. Is that for his own personal kind of benefit, or is it? I get the feeling he's a little bit too modest to appreciate a lot of that.
Yeah, he is pretty modest. To be fair, the only reason I did it, I felt sorry for the fans because they were screaming out for somebody to do it. It was between me and him, and I wasn't certainly going to do it, mate. So I literally pushed him over, but I think it was a good moment because I think the fans, want to show their appreciation to the players, and sometimes, guys like Kyogo maybe. They're not scoring or they're going through a tough time. I still think the fans appreciate what they've done for this club and they want to show that appreciation. And sometimes I think the players, for their own reasons, maybe are a little bit sort of shy in receiving that support. And there's nothing wrong with it. Our supporters will stick with our players through thick and thin. I think they've showed that in the past. Sometimes they'll get frustrated with performances, but over the course, if people are putting in and Kyogo always puts in, our supporters will always appreciate it. So I thought it was a nice moment between two of them. But like I said, it was more done for the supporters. I felt for them. And like I said, I wasn't going to be jumping around, mate. So I had to be Kyogo.
Thanks very much, Ange. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, bud.
Gavin?
Ange, was it a big boost to get a clean sheet the other night as well? Obviously, your defences had to chop and change with injuries at centre half. Is that maybe going to help the future as well, just to get that clean sheet?
Yeah, again, I think I've said in the past, clean sheets don't really excite me. It's how we defend it that I'm more happy with. And, I think our defending is becoming more solid as a group. And it helps that sort of, Moritz and sort of Cam are settled now. I've said in the past that I think in particular centre-half pairings are really important in terms of just understanding and all that kind of stuff. And we saw that last year with Cameron and Carl sort of being mainstays in our team. And, we've just had really disruption in that position this year with Carl obviously firstly missing pre-season and picking up an injury just when he was getting back in. And, Moritz came in late and then Welshie picked up a couple of injuries. Cam was out. So that's always going to be a bit disruptive. So I think having those two settled is certainly helpful in just getting our understanding as a defensive unit. But again, overall, I think our defensive work hasn't been too bad through that period anyway.
Bear with me on this one. I'm just going to go back to VAR. And I know not everyone is excited about it. I think it's fair to say that there's some people maybe a bit worried about the kind of disruption to the flow of the game, and given how much your game is based on getting the game restarted quickly, is that a concern at all to you at all, that it might break up the flow of the game a wee bit?
Yeah, I guess it's why I hope it doesn't. It's not needed, because it means that the referees are kind of letting it, getting the decisions right, and there's nothing major that goes on. I mean, again, we're kind of used to it with the Champions League. We understand how it's used, but you don't want too many disruptions during the game. For the most part, I think obviously there were incidents that get highlighted, but if you watch 20 games over a weekend, how many games does it really affect? Maybe one or two. And I think definitely from my perspective, if you're asking me what my hopes are for VAR, is that it doesn't need to be involved in any of our games, because the kind of referees taking care of things, but it is there to pick up anything that the referees miss. And if they do miss it, I mean, I've been here now, like I said, 15, 16 months, and on a weekly basis, all I've heard is managers or pundits complain about referees' decisions. So, if this somehow, makes them feel better about things, great, but it has zero effect on me.
Thanks, Gavin. And Amy?
Hi, Ange. I want to ask you on VR. Kyogo and Giakoumakis have both got back amongst the goals in the last few weeks. How pleasing is that for you that the guys up top, obviously goals are coming from elsewhere, but your two forward strikers are really getting back amongst it?
Yeah, really pleased. I think, again, they're both, in really good form. And obviously, Kyogo went through a bit of a spell where, he's hitting the post instead of the ball going in, but good for him to get the goal the other night. But again, we've showed that, our wingers are also getting in on the act. You've had Jamesy obviously getting a hat-trick. Liel got two. Dazen got one on the weekend. So, I think it's important. And then with our midfielders, Rao scored another goal. So, we want to have multiple threats, but there's no doubt our central strikers are important to that. And, having them both sort of in good form is great for me because, we're going to need both through this busy period. And, I think the way I look at it is, combining them both and looking at their goals per game ratio as a duo, it's the equivalent of, one fantastic striker, which would be humanly impossible to do with the schedule we've had. So, I'm really pleased that both of them are contributing, both of them scoring goals, and that's what's important to us.
Obviously, the three competitions in 10 days, that almost perhaps forces your hand for a little bit of rotation. But can you take a positive out of that to give the perhaps so-called fringe players a more go?
Yeah, if you can tell me who the fringe players are, because, I think we changed, I think 5 players from the weekend to midweek, and, both comprehensive victories and both good performances. And, I think, like I said, from my perspective, if we're going to maintain levels of performance and sort of get the results we need through this busy period, then we're going to need the whole squad. And the players have embraced that. I certainly don't look at it as fringe players or starters. I think whatever team we put out there is a team we believe can win the game of football for us. And those are the players that are most important on that day. And after that's done and dusted, we look to the next challenge. But as I said, the players are coping with it really well, and we need them to because, our injury, we're maintaining a decent injury sort of record at the moment. Most of them, I think, bar one, have been sort of contact injuries which are unavoidable. And, that's keeping us at a really good level through this busy time.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. Okay, that's us, guys.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Ian.